All right. We have a quorum. You guys ready to fire off?
Let's do it.
All right. Good evening. I'm calling this meeting to order. The time is 5:30 p.m. in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. This meeting is officially open with a quorum present. The following board members are present in person and/or virtually, and in this case, all virtually. And I will now call each of their names in the order of their districts. District 3, Trustee Quentin Phillips.
Good evening, Vice President Jackson. Q. Phillips, representing District 3. I am present.
Hi, Trustee Phillips. District 4, Trustee Daphne Brookins.
Good evening, Vice President Jackson. This is Daphne Brookins representing District 4.
How are you doing, Trustee Brookins?
Good, good.
District 5, Trustee CJ Evans is not yet here. District 6, Trustee Andar.
This is Andar representing District 6.
How are you tonight, Trustee Dar?
I'm fine. Thank you, Trustee Jackson.
That's cool. District 7, Trustee Norman Robbins.
Good evening, Vice President Jackson. This is Norman Robbins representing District 7.
How are you doing, Trustee Robbins?
Great.
Cool. I don't know if anybody's going to top great. District 8, Trustee Anaya Luebanos. I do not see yet. District 9 trustee Ashley Paz. Trustee Paz.
Hi, I'm here, Ashley. Good to see everybody.
How are you tonight, Trustee Paz?
I couldn't be better.
Well, you may have beat great. Okay. I'm First Vice President Jackson, representing District 2. On March the 16th, 2020, Governor Abbott temporarily suspended certain open meetings requirements imposed by the Open Meetings Act to slow the spread of COVID-19. This action permits meetings subject to the Open Meetings Act to be hosted by telephone or video conference. This meeting is being broadcast live via Spectrum Charter Channel 192, the Fort Worth ISD live channel on YouTube, and a link provided in the agenda, which you can find on the Fort Worth ISD website. In accordance with those suspended rules, we certify the following. Notice of this meeting has been posted 72 hours ahead of time. 1, although members of the board are not gathered in a central physical location, we do have a quorum in attendance at this meeting by video conference. 2, we are meeting by use of Zoom software application, which allows two-way communication for members of the public. 3, as we would at any in-person meeting, members of the public who have followed the instructions on the meeting notice for registering to speak during the public will be unmuted for 3 minutes to speak. 4, all other meeting procedures will adhere to board adopted procedures to the extent practicable. 5, an audio recording of this meeting is being made and will be available to each of you, the public, at a later date. 6, we apologize in advance for any unforeseeable difficulties and ask for your patience as we navigate unprecedented conditions. 7, if you have questions about these suspended laws, please call the Office of the Attorney General at 888-672-6787 or by email at toma@oag.texas.gov. Do we have any public comment tonight, Mr. Bond?
Vice President Jackson, there are no speakers signed up to address the board.
Okay, thank you. And we have no items to discuss under executive session, so we're moving straight to action items for this evening. Action item A, discussion and action to approve canvassing returns and declaring the results of voter-approved tax ratification election. The district called the voter approval tax ratification election for November 3rd, 2020, and contracted with the county, acting through the Tarrant County Election Administrator, to conduct the election. The results of the election do not become official until the board adopts an order canvassing the returns. The Tarrant County Election Administrator has completed the canvassing of election returns and determined that the following votes were cast for Proposition A: 81,265 for and 74,569 against. The order being considered by the board is for the purpose of finding and determining that the election was properly called and held and that the proposition passed with a favorable majority. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Ashley Paz.
Trustee Paz has made the motion. Do we have a second?
I second. And Trustee Dar.
Second by Trustee Dar. Do we have any discussion?
I have a question, Toby. Can you
Yes, ma'am.
just can you repeat those numbers for me real quick?
Sure. Thank you for asking. The Proposition A was passed with 81,265 votes for and 74,569 votes against.
I have no further questions.
Okay. Do you all want me to go through roll call, or are we good with no questions? Okay, we'll move on. Please move to voting. As I call your name, trustees, say yes, no, or abstain. We have a motion on the floor. That is discussion and action to approve canvassing returns and declaring the results of voter approval tax ratification election. Moved by trustee Ashley Paz, seconded by trustee Ann Dar. We'll move to voting at this time. District 3 trustee Quentin Phillips.
Yes.
Thank you. District 4 trustee Daphne Brookins.
Yes.
Thank you. District 5 trustee CJ Evans, is she present? Not seeing her. District 6 trustee Ann Dar.
Yes.
Thank you. District 7 trustee Norm Robbins.
Yes.
Thank you. District 8 trustee is trustee Luebanos here? Not seeing him. District 9 trustee Ashley Paz.
Yes.
And I am District 2 trustee Toby Jackson. The motion passes unanimously. Next item, item B, to approve superintendent to authorize purchases of student laptops and services to provide a one-to-one student to device. Do I have a motion?
Trustee Q Phillips, I'm so moved.
Second, Ashley Paz.
The motion has been moved by trustee Quentin Phillips and seconded by trustee Paz. Do we have any discussion? And I will go through roll call on this. District 3 trustee Quentin Phillips, any discussion?
Hallelujah.
Okay, somebody top that. District 4 trustee Daphne Brookins.
I just want to make sure that we have an equity discussion on how we are going to deliver the laptops and hotspots or whichever we get. Because I have been getting a lot of calls lately about their equipment either not working or lack of. So I just want to make sure that it's distributed properly.
Yes, if I may, Vice President Jackson, we absolutely are using our school performance framework, prioritizing the highest need campuses, and these 23,000 Chromebooks, laptops will go there first. And we certainly, I'll have staff provide a report to the board as to the distribution of these Chromebooks when they arrive.
Thank you.
District 6 trustee Ann Dar.
Yes, I have a question. Is there a timeline for when? I know it's hard to predict as far as because we're at the mercy of vendors, but is there a timeline for when the devices are expected to arrive and be delivered and disseminated to students?
In some cases, actually, we're not only dependent on vendors, but on customs. We had a holdup several months ago in the docks in Los Angeles. We don't know that timeline now, but again, I'll have staff track these, and we'll provide the board and the principals with an update as to when they can expect to receive them and get them distributed. And of course, those families who have multiple students in one home, we will be targeting them first.
Thank you. District 7.
I'm sorry, just along the communication piece is just making sure that the principals, yes, make sure that the principals do know, but that they're sharing that information with families so that they know that they have not just been forgotten or overlooked in some way, or that the ball didn't get dropped in any way. I'm certain that it will not, but I want to make sure that the public knows that as well.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you, trustee Dar. Trustee District 7, Norman Robbins.
No discussion.
Thank you. District 9 trustee Ashley Paz.
Yes, I do have a question, Vice President Jackson. So this is a pretty monumental moment for us to be able to officially have one-to-one devices across the district. Superintendent Scribner, would you mind just kind of sharing briefly what exactly it means to have one-to-one devices and what it means for our school performance framework as we move forward, and in layman terms. So those of us in the civilian world can understand.
No, of course. And a couple things. One is we really wanted to demonstrate to our community, we're very grateful to our community for passing the TRE here in Fort Worth ISD. We know that there were a few questions, a few school elections that night. Some did not fare well, and others barely are passing. The Fort Worth ISD's TRE actually passed by the largest win margin in Tarrant County. So we're very appreciative to our voters. We wanted to take decisive and quick action and provide those devices, those computers to our students and their families as quickly as possible. Also, the correlating hotspots. In fact, tomorrow I have a meeting with the Cradle to Career Fort Worth to talk about the expansion of the city's investment in terms of getting robust accessibility and Wi-Fi across the city. That project will continue in the coming weeks and months, and we certainly want to update this board and our entire school community on that question. But what this really will mean is that every family, every student will have a device. We've heard stories of some communities that perhaps are more affluent and are able to provide a device, yet the school district continue to provide a device, which is our responsibility. We'll continue to do so. This simply means we can do it all over the 209 square miles. And further, with regard to, as I said earlier, right now, since we are unable to provide a device for every student, there is at least a device in every home. In many cases, there's more than one in a home. For example, with 4 students, we will be able to provide 2 devices. But regardless of what the educational environment looks like in the future, digital learning now will be a core component of instruction. As I said, moving forward, in order to make up for the lost time in instruction, we envision a world in which in person, the great news this morning about the vaccines coming along, where we ultimately will have in person across the board, but then also want to make up some of that lost ground after school in the evenings, on the weekends, and that can be done in person, or it can also be done virtually. So we want to make sure that this is a program for all of our students, pre-K through 12th grade, and the age-appropriate devices where the little ones and my screen went blank for a moment. I don't know if I lost you or not.
You lost us for a moment, sir.
So we want to hit all students pre-K through 12, and we'll do that from an equity lens to Trustee Brooken's point, and be updating the board and the community as this rolls out.
Thank you, Superintendent Scribner. I just want to make sure that we do follow up with the board with regard to the equity discussion and with the community, the timeline and the communication. Trustee Paz said a monumental moment in our district, and we should all be very, very proud. I know that the executive directors meet every 2 weeks about Chromebook distribution. Will they be meeting more frequently as this rolls out, or will that be sufficient?
I think they'll continue with their meeting schedule and incorporate that into their work. But we certainly will manage that on this side. And yes, they are having much more efficient meetings now that the board has approved our new pyramid structure with our reboundary work that was done last.
Thank you. I have one other question, and that's with Wi-Fi towers. The county, the school district, TCC, and the city, are we all working together and sharing our funds, especially around the CARES funding? And could you elaborate if that's happening?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I think the neighborhood improvement grant that the city voted on really has changed our thinking a little bit. The digital towers, the conversation now is that may be old technology. And what we want to do is tie into the network that is being rolled out by the county, being rolled out by the city on light poles, on structures across the city. So we certainly want to be using the most current technology, and we're meeting on that very regularly. In fact, we're very fortunate and grateful to the Rainwater Foundation, who is bringing a great deal of funds to bear in order to get this started. And their work is likely going to be in that Morningside zip code as one of the first and most underserved zip codes. If you will remember the percentage of families, I think it was 55% without access to broadband. So we want to work with them and ultimately hit every corner of the city.
And I do believe that the Morningside area, if you tease out the west side of 35, those numbers would be even higher. And Trustee Paz and Trustee Briggins could elaborate on that probably a lot more than I can.
I think you're absolutely right.
Thank you, and thank you for the hard work on this. And I look forward to the day that all of our kids have equal access. And with that, let's please move to voting as I call your name. District 3 Trustee Quentin Phillips.
Emphatically, yes.
District 4 Trustee Daphne Brickens.
Yes.
Thank you. District 6 Trustee Ann Dar.
Yes.
District 7 Trustee Norman Robbins.
Yes.
And District 9 Trustee Ashley Paz.
Absolutely.
There you go. And I am Toby Jackson. I too vote yes. 6 yays. It means we passed unanimously. And at this time, does anyone have any comments at all? Seeing and hearing none, this meeting is adjourned at exactly 5:48 p.m.
Hold on, Vice President Jackson. I think
Got me?
Dr. Scribner wanted to say something, I believe.
Yeah, I apologize, but just very briefly, as we head into the final week prior to Thanksgiving, I want to thank you, Vice President Jackson, and the entire board, but in particular, we want to take a few moments to thank our employees. To say that it's been a difficult year is a gross understatement, and thank you simply doesn't do enough. But we wanted to remind our staff that we want them to rest, to recharge, to rejuvenate, and unfortunately, many of us won't have the opportunity to spend time with our extended family as we're in the midst of this terrible pandemic. But we certainly urge everyone as they celebrate Thanksgiving to continue to use those COVID safety protocols, wearing a mask, washing hands, social distance. We want each and every one of our entire school community, students, faculty, and staff to be healthy and safe as we return on the 30th of November. So just wanted to quickly, on behalf of the board, thank everyone and remind all of us to stay safe.
Thank you, Dr. Scribner, and thank you for your leadership and that of your team. And on that note, at 5:49 p.m., we will adjourn. Guys, have a good Thanksgiving.